welcome back. Thank you for joining me for what is very much likely to be a more sobering installment of LSTV. I am Lance Sisney, and thank you for joining me. Just a few hours ago, Politico posted an article on Twitter, now X.com, explaining how he is shocked and sickened. Biden condemns the killing of a 6-year-old Muslim boy. And thinking of recent history, my comment in return was, shouldn't his speech condemning the actions of Palestinians be considered incitement for that violence? For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I believe this happened over the weekend where an Illinois man, see if I can just get this to slow down a little bit. An Illinois man motivated by anti-Palestinian rhetoric had killed a Muslim boy. All because of this crazy war that's going on that doesn't have anything to do with America or American interests, if you ask me. But, I don't, get to make decisions, it seems like, all the time when it comes to those things. But I just wonder if, when somebody makes a comment like that and ends up causing some problems that, some retraction should be made. Well, we have one. We have retraction. Something that was reported before the weekend about some of the violence that was occurring right now in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict was actually atrocious and something that no one could stand behind. The initial reporting of it was things had been committed that if you even spoke out against, you were now considered an asset of the enemy. But after having been initially reported, our CNN reporter, Sarah Snyder here, issued a retraction on Twitter, where many people go, not everyone, saying that yesterday the Israeli Prime Minister's office said that it had confirmed Hamas beheaded babies and children while we were live on the air. The Israeli government now says it cannot confirm babies were beheaded. I need to be more careful with my words, and I am sorry. Well, imagine that. The reporting turns out to be not only initially false, but totally uncorroborated, and the accusation initially being propaganda seems to be more true. And which just goes to reinforce that things are not always what they seem when you are first hear of the things happening around the world. We would be led to believe that the people of Israel would most likely be associated with the religion of Judaism. This is sort of stereotypical. I don't think we should necessarily jump to those conclusions, but also that every member of the Jewish religion would be pro-Israeli government. And I think that this distinction is often assumed because of the things we hear about their culture and society. But again, if we are to look at the actions that are going on in Israel alongside this conflict that we're hearing so much about, well, things don't seem to be quite exactly what they say. We have a account on Twitter here. I just want to look at this account before we go too far into their post here. I would like to, see how long they've been a member of Twitter and how many followers they have and stuff like that. That does seem to have some relevance in the world we live in today. But of course, always when I start getting into the deep stuff, they want to throttle me, keep me from digging. But my machine keeps working. I'll dig. Let's see. 102.6 thousand followers joined December 2022. So, what does that say? I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about what that says, but we'll close some of these other windows here. Maybe I can speed this up for us a little bit. That's what happens when you work on the bare minimum. You gotta boost the bare minimum of what you got. But this guy Torah Judaism, which I would say would seem like be a pretty hard Twitter handle to get, but who knows? Things happen. But his post says that Jews do not want to serve in the Israeli army. Jews do not want to embrace Zionism, which is the Jewish worship of the Israeli state, and accept it as part of Judaism, which, if you look into some of the more specific parts of Judaism, worship of the state is a sin. But they're arresting Jewish rabbis now for protesting the incarceration of Jewish youth who refuse to serve in the Israeli army. Now think about that. We talk about free will over here in America, in Israel, which a lot of people support. Their children are forced to serve 2 years in the Israeli army, whether they're in wartime or not. Just think about that. If you were forced to serve, your 2 years during a wartime where several generations ahead of you just got to be prosperous and no war and just got to do their 2 years and get out with a whole bunch of money. But now, hey, by the way, your turn, go get in there, fight. Anyways, I'm just saying, I'm sure the westernization of the world that is occurring today is teaching the young Jewish people of Israel that serving, for being forced to serve 2 years in any military may not be in their best interests. And so those are the things that they would deceive us with these days, it seemed like, about what's going on in Israel against Pakistan, that all Jewish people in Israel support the Israeli government, and that all, I think I said Pakistan, I meant Palestine. If I did make that mistake, I apologize. I often do that just because of just the sheer, I'm not from that region, so those words do not roll off the tip of my tongue as easily. I have to think about them. But that all the people of Palestine are not associated with terrorism. So, how much do we believe on either side? Those things are hard to define. Religious extremism, political terrorism, those definitions end up being, hard to litigate. And what happens in the years of litigation is so many things change. We often forget the initial crime that brought on the challenge was a massacre at I would say a rave, many people describe it as such, in Israel, but near the Palestine-Gaza Strip. It's called the Supernova Festival of Unity, and I tried to look into it, and I wanted to find out, who promoted this concert, who put it on, who set these people up to be massacred. You think that the festival goers do have some responsibility for what happened to those people who paid admittance to be in those. But you know what? The more I find is that it gets harder and harder to find any information out about that specific event. Now, is that a cover-up? Is that trying to say that they don't really want us to let us know find out what was really going on? Because, if you start investigating that, then you start looking into the crime that may have been committed. But the bit of information that I can find out about it from, this is NDTV World. I'm not sure if this is a valid website or not, but the event coincided with the week-long Jewish holiday of Sukkot. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And it goes into the event of what actually happened, the horrible thing that happened. No thanks. I just want to read the article. But here, they give us this little bit of snippet about what the festival was billed as. The Supernova Music Festival, also recognized as the Universo Paralelo Festival, and I believe because the production company that was promotion company was somehow based out of Brazil, if I'm just making those associations correctly. But it took place in Rahim, Israel, which is a rural region situated in close proximity to the Gaza Strip border. Perfect place for a high-profile, non-Muslim friendly concert, if you ask me. But anyways, this event coincided with the week-long Jewish holiday. Okay, I already said that. And that it is a holiday that marks the harvest gathering and serves as a commemoratorium of the divine protection granted by God to the children of Israel during the Exodus from Egypt. according to The Guardian, the Supernova Music Festival billed as a journey of unity and love. Kind of sounds like it may be on that rainbow flag side to me. You know what goes on in Brazil, right? With mind-blowing and breathtaking content. You know, it was a drug rave, right? That unity rave party. It wasn't just like a Christian Bible study prayer meeting, okay? It was like, okay, let's go ahead. Began around 10 p.m. on Friday, just hours after the end of Israel's week-long Sukkot religious festival. Now, that party right next to those ultra-conservative Muslim people in Palestine who really don't like that stuff at all. So I'm saying the promoter might be on the hook here for something, if you ask me. Okay, so that really is all they get into what was going on at the concert there. I mean, in that article. Then it just goes into the massacre and explains what happened. I think we've all heard about that quite a bit. And so I'm going to let you go ahead and relive that if you really want to. But in trying to dig more and more and more about this event, you know, I found that it became harder and harder and harder to find any actual content that was outside of that blanket statement. I wanted to know about when it was advertised, who it was advertised to. From what I was trying to say is that, you know, it's getting harder and harder to find any information about that music festival. There was a couple of other articles. I thought one was interesting. It was out of the LA Times, and it explained how they had a big dance community out there that understood, you know, the pain and frustration. They had some, you know, people that was out there at the time, you know, which makes me, you know, kind of think, you know, LA, California, lefty, stuff like that. But, you know, I really don't want to get to American politics on it because this has nothing to do with American politics. This is a whole different two-country war that we really don't even need to be sticking our nose in, other than, you know, getting American citizens out. And I'm glad they sent the army and the best of the best. We're going to get over there. We're going to get our people out, let them fight over their little piece of dirt if they want to. But, you know, this is the key part of the whole thing I wanted to get to. If this thing will stop crashing on me, if I can get this one out, because this thing had something pretty interesting that I thought when I got to look at it a little closer. Come on, here we go. There we go. Here we go. This was the Messenger News, and there's not a whole lot more information in this article, I believe, either. But the headline: the secret location of Israeli Music Festival may have been exposed. Why was this location of this music festival? I mean, I understand they would have wanted it to be a secret to the terrorists, but it's a music festival. You think they advertise it to people to pay for tickets to go see musicians, right? Or do they? What was really going on at this music festival? Who was there? What was the secret? And, yeah, another, you know, the unity of love, 3,500 people, no real information. But, you know, they do this article does talk about the promoters and their how they may have been hacked. Something that was also sort of interesting. One of the organizers here, we'll subscribe later. One of the organizers of the all-night rave staged between two kibbutzes told Channel 12 he had a feeling his Facebook account had been compromised last month, but never imagined it could be terrorists planning an assault. You know, they don't know anything about that over there because, you know, they just, you know, live that every day of their life. So why would they think that? What was this Facebook hack? Why was it overlooked? What's going on? I really have so many suspicions. I really can't get into it because I don't know anything about it. I just know that there's more to this than we're being told. And, you know, who was there? Who was being set up? Who was the mark? You know, who was the patsy? And then ask that question on one of my social media accounts, and I was provided the link to this organization, which I'll share with you, you know, below also in the link, and I'll try to put a, you know, if I can flash up the page with you right now, but did I get it? Or did I miss it? Okay, here we go. Yeah, sorry. I believe this may be some of the money behind it, some of the, you know, the production value. And, you know, when you go to a place like this, what you do is you want to look at um, who are we? You know, who are we? Here we go. It's just the board members. Oh, well, we can see them here, I guess. Yeah, we can see the board members. I mean, I don't know. You make your assumptions. I've already made mine. I mean, there's big money involved. You know, all this media, all this stuff going on at the same time, it's hard to believe anything. That's all I'm trying to say. It was a big rave, a big party, a bunch of money involved in the entertainment. I mean, it doesn't really make a lot of sense since we've had a lot of incidents in the recent past that have resulted in heightened security at most concerts. Travis Scott, Ariana Grande, I believe Sam Smith was involved in something that had similar outcomes as well. So, you know, I've been listening to a lot of stuff lately, what's been going on in the world, and that was my investigative part of the speech today. And if you spent this long listening to me, I really appreciate you going with me and going through the hiccup there. I kind of just wanted to finish by something that I didn't get to say on a space that I was on the other day, so I'm going to go ahead and show a link to that space real quick, because I like to go on those Twitter spaces and listen to people talk. So, but lately, you know, they're basically just saying the same thing over and over. So we're not really getting. It's kind of a, you know, a megaphone, a repeating, an echoing megaphone right now, which is hard to listen to. But I think this is a space link here. That was my comment to the link. Yeah, and then there you go. You go and you click on the space. You can hear the whole conversation. I think the part that I was trying to respond to was about an hour in, so I really didn't get a chance to listen long enough for them to let me speak. But the thing that the guy said was that the advertising of this war is that how the terrorists want to kill, along with the Jewish people of Israel, the pro Israel Jewish people of Israel. Those aren't the only people. This is the way that the media is advertising this conflict to other countries so that we'll join them in their struggle. Is that the terrorists don't only want to kill the Jewish people of Israel, they also want to kill all white Christians, which will bring about pro-Zionist sentiment, which is pro-religious support of the Israeli government. And that I wanted to, you know, make sure that when we're talking about this, that we're not confusing Palestine with Hamas, because Hamas is like a political movement or a different association of people. The Palestinian people are the citizens of the country of Palestine. So there you get the definition of terrorism overlapping with domestic extremism, and there's so many different things. We got to just be very specific if we're going to talk about this conversation. And the same thing with the people of Israel being either Jewish people or pro-Israeli Jewish government people, which is a different thing as well. And, you know, because we've had a lot about this stuff in the news lately, you know, things like Kanye West talking about this Jewish-controlled media, and this was just recently, and it's nothing new. It's not like, you know, we don't know that there's a bunch of people in Hollywood who are, you know, practicing the Jewish faith, and that there's no shortage of people in Hollywood who sympathize with the country of Israel. So that's why it's all over the media, is because they put their spin on it for their own their own personal preference, because that is the right to do in their product, because they're the ones who make the movies. They can do that. But most people in America associate things that happen in the movies with the way that the government and the citizenry feel as a whole, is that's how the movies are a mirror of our society rather than a specific voice of a group of people, hence the people who make the movies. So they can make whatever movies they want, they can say whatever they want, you can pay to go see it, you can not go pay to not go see it, it's all up to you. But it brings about an amount of confusion, and I wonder, is that confusion intentional? The confusion that we're seeing about, you know, refugees and war and hardships brings about the idea of global border. You know, do we open our borders? Do we make people global citizens? Do we have, you know, universal CBDCs? Now, this is all the conversations that we've been centered around, or let's say we, that the technology groups and the banking groups and the government and the devices that are planning the world around us have been talking about for a long time now. So I think they're making up this information for us to consume, to lead us to the decisions that they want us to make. And what would the decision that they would want us to make versus if you look at what they're offering us to think right now? We're feeding off of what they're selling us right now. Okay? Well, how much is peace worth to you? Well, this is a little bit more about what's going on over there. I'll let you look at this on your own. I don't want to repeat any of what these guys are saying because I'm not going to say I'm on either side. All I know is I'm pointing out the misinformation where I see it occurring and where they want us to fall short. So if I can get back to what I was trying to finish up by saying here is that it seems like they are on the scale of justice. What they're offering you is how much is peace worth to you? Is war more profitable, or is paying for peace the value that you seek? Peace is expensive. You don't make money in peacetime. Peacetime, you have to work to make a profit. And so, in that sense, and my question is, so what is wealth? Is wealth the ability to accumulate more money easily, or is wealth having the money and spending it on what it is worth to you? What is wealth to you? I think it's different for everybody, but I'll leave you with that. Until next time, thank you very much. Goodbye.